The Showtime Lakers always brought fans to their feet. Their show featured the flashy moves of Magic Johnson, the graceful hooks of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the electrifying dunks of James Worthy. But those Lakers weren't only about style and glamour. They also received gritty, hard-nosed defense from Michael Cooper. Coop was a cornerstone of LA's dynasty, and he's the subject of this week's Vintage NBA.
2 seconds, 1 second, West throws it up, he makes it!
Now there's a steal by Bird, underneath the DJ, lays it in!
Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan!
Yes, basketball has changed. It's always been a great game, but now it has a new spirit.
He dunks like Dr. J. He might be the new Iceman.
The modern day Wilt Chamberlain.
He looked like Magic Johnson.
The future has arrived.
You are watching what greatness is all about.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new season of Vintage NBA. I'm Robin Roberts. You know, each week we take a look back into history to profile another NBA legend. And we begin with an LA champion of the past and present, Michael Cooper. Last season, he coached the Sparks to their first WNBA title. And as a player, he won 5 championships with the Lakers in the 1980s. For the past 2 years, the Lakers have once again risen to the top of the NBA. And one of their most dependable reserves has been veteran Brian Shaw. This week, Brian is in the chair with his memories of Laker great Michael Cooper.
I thought about Michael Cooper when I first started watching him play.
Cooper is just a sensational basketball player.
He was somebody that I respected because he was always where the action was.
The young man wants to be on the all-defensive team every year.
You know, I thought that he was a guy that was fearless out on the court. Whenever there was any action, loose balls, Cooper seemed to be there.
What a player by the Defensive Player of the Year!
The Lakers' great sixth man, Michael Cooper, was honored as the 1987 NBA Defensive Player of the Year, a remarkable achievement because it's usually an honor held for starting players.
Coop would actually develop, while the game was going on, a hatred for the person that he was guarding. He wanted to pump fear in their heart, shadowed them everywhere they went. You know, he has that look on his face, you know, that fearless look like a dog, like, I'm gonna get you.
When you are the leading shot-blocking guard in the league, now you are an intimidator in 2 factors, not only because of defensive position, but also because you block shots.
In this picture, he's guarding Dennis Johnson. Looks like he's blocking one of his shots.
That was a beautiful defensive effort by Michael Cooper.
In this picture, he's guarding Larry Bird, so that shows the versatility that he has. He can guard point guard, he can guard a small forward or a power forward. If it was the other team's top scorer, he was a stopper, and that's who he was going to guard. Well, one thing you'll notice, he always has his strings out. So I don't know if that was something that he had a superstition about or whatever, but he always seemed to have his strings out. What also brought attention to him was the fact that he chose to wear his socks as high as he did. And it really made him stand out because he was so skinny. When I thought about how Michael Cooper dressed, the first thing that popped in my mind is just tight. So now you see how tight the jersey is fitting. You can see all his muscles in the jersey. Well, this is how his suits fit. That European model look is back now, so maybe Coop knew something then that we didn't know now. A guy that was so skinny, you know, sometimes his pants would be so tight you could see his calf muscles and his quad muscles through his pants.
Michael Cooper, the sixth man, the man who does it all.
My name is Michael, but they call me Coop. My main hangout is up around the hoop.
Coop, you know, was an underrated leaper. You know, I know that he can get up, but right here you see his head is almost, he had to duck to avoid from hitting the backboard right here. He's probably on the end of one of Magic's Cooper loops.
Lob for Cooper.
Which is something that I would have loved to play with him and thrown to him. What better player to pattern yourself after than a Michael Cooper?
Michael Cooper is the type of guy that gives you all the intangibles.
I could say that I'm proud to try to follow in a guy like his footsteps.
I don't know if you remember this, but Brian actually started out with LA's arch rivals, the Celtics, and played against Cooper in his rookie season of 1988. Now he's thinking of following Coop's career path and becoming a coach. Brian says he's trying to soak up as much knowledge as he can from the Laker coaching staff. Well, coming up, we'll look back at the brilliant career of Michael Cooper.
He had an aura about him, the gunslinger mentality from the Old West. He's trying to send a message, you know, to the opponent that he's about to lock up.
Steal by Cooper. Well, you could see that one happening. You could see the eyes of Cooper.
There was some sort of sickness inside of him that enjoyed frustrating people when they were out there on the court.
Dribble right around Worthy. Put it up and Cooper blocked the shot.
What a play by Cooper. Yes, indeed. What a dandy play by Michael Cooper.
When you saw the socks, you knew who it was wearing them.
What's kind of the look then? They kind of went with the time, and it was a good look.
Michael Cooper was always so skinny, he had to tie knots in his leg to make knees.
I think it was a way with the high socks to cover up those really skinny legs he had.
I have to tell you, as a youngster, it didn't seem that Michael Cooper was destined for greatness. You see, he was so skinny, his grandmother nicknamed him Pole, short for beanpole. Then at age 4, Michael fell on an open coffee can, severely injuring his knee. He spent the next 4 years in a leg brace. Despite all that, he grew up to become an NBA star and a key member of 5 Laker championship teams. Today, he's still bringing glory to Los Angeles, this time as head coach of the Sparks.
The Lakers are the world champions.
The Lakers have won it again.
For the past 2 decades, Michael Cooper has helped build a tradition of excellence in Los Angeles.
There's the buzzer. The LA Sparks are the new champions of the WNBA.
That's all I've ever known here in Los Angeles is to win a championship. And I mean, right now, these ladies know what it takes.
As head coach of the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks, Michael is applying the lessons learned with the Lakers, teaching his team the essence of championship basketball.
For me, being a local girl and being in Inglewood when Coach Cooper actually played at the Forum is really exciting for me to be able to work with him every day. He's taught me so much in such a short period of time about the game.
We got to do a defensive stop. No threes. Right now, this is what we're about, is defense.
Southern California has always been home for Cooper. He started at Pasadena High School, and ironically, he patterned his game after a member of the Lakers' arch rivals, the Boston Celtics.
My idol for growing up was John Havlicek. He was willing to do whatever it took for his ball club to win. That was my thinking coming into the NBA, is just doing what I can for the Lakers.
On a team with future Hall of Famers Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy, it was up to Cooper to provide the intangibles that were crucial to Lakers' success.
One of the first role players in the NBA who didn't care if he scored or not, did what the team needed to win.
My main goal right now is to make the first team all-defensive team. Then my next goal after that is to stay on that until I retire.
He received all defensive honors 8 times, and he took it upon himself to shut down the opponent's top scorer.
He had an aura about him, the gunslinger mentality from the Old West. He's trying to send a message, you know, to the opponent that he's about to lock up.
Steal by Cooper. Well, you could see that one happening. You could see the eyes of Cooper.
There was some sort of sickness inside of him that enjoyed frustrating people when they were out there on the court.
Dribble right around Worthy. Put it up and Cooper blocked the shot.
He didn't give you the easy basket. You know when you were going to go against the Lakers and Cooper was going to guard you, it was going to be a rough night.
The zest that he had when it came to taking the challenge to stop somebody. He really wanted to stop somebody.
Bird, Cooper right with him. But Cooper's like a winter coat on Bird.
In the Lakers' epic battles against Boston, it was Cooper who drew the unenviable task of trying to stop Larry Bird, who would later call Cooper the toughest defender ever faced.
Leading up to the Boston confrontation, I would think to myself when I'm playing, hey, I'm guarding Larry Bird, I gotta be at my best.
Cooper and Bird are still getting to know each other. They can put on the same jersey.
They were very physical games. There was always a lot of pushing and shoving. Matter of fact, I'm sweating right now in my arms because those were some great rivalries there.
But Cooper's importance went far beyond defense. His intensity and savvy made him an asset in every phase of the game.
The fact that he was thinking primarily about defense and making stops and rebounding the ball and taking charges and all of those things made him a better player. He became a better offensive player. He was my backup point guard, could handle the ball.
Cooper going all the way, coast to coast. The basket counts and a foul. He brings it out in front to Cooper. Three-pointer. Good.
He was that igniter off the bench. Anytime you'd see him come off the bench and the crowd would start yelling, Coop, Coop, Coop.
Michael Cooper had me on my feet. He was hot. He was blazing hot.
The ball to Magic. Dribble drive. Down the middle. Out to Coop. 18-footer. Good!
Well, I know y'all been waiting on the man of the hour. So I guess
I said you needed another assist, so I came up here to help
Well, Irvin and I go back to 1979 when we first came in the league together. I had been in a year prior, but I was injured, and then he came in, so it was like we kind of clicked.
With Magic's ball handling and Cooper's athleticism, the two developed a high-flying play that became a signature part of Showtime.
The Cooper loop, the pass where Magic would throw it in the air, and I would go sailing by, catch it, and slam dunk it. Magic and I were thinking about a way where I could use my leaping ability. I just kind of looked at Magic, and he knew exactly what I was going to do. And I backdoored my man, and all of a sudden, you know, he throws the ball in the air.
Alley-oop. They call that the Cooper loop here in Los Angeles. And when he goes up in the air, I mean, you are talking serious levitation.
Now Michael Cooper has become the link between the glory years of the Lakers and the rise of the Sparks. He may not have received the accolades of his more celebrated teammates, but he will always have a well-deserved place in LA's basketball lore.
Without a doubt, one of the great players that I've ever coached and a real integral part of our championship runs.
Being a Laker is having a lot of heart, a lot of smarts, and wanting to do whatever it takes to win.
Michael Cooper retired in 1990. He later became an assistant coach with the Lakers. And for the past 2 seasons, he's been head coach of the Sparks. In 2000, Coop was named WNBA Coach of the Year. And last season, he became the first person to win an NBA and WNBA championship ring. You know, championship rings never go out of style, but there were some very different styles during Michael's playing days. We'll flash back to some 80s fashions right after we look back at the year Cooper broke into the NBA, 1978. Well, around this time of the show, we head to the old computer for a little web surfing, and on NBA.com, we find a chat with Michael Cooper where someone asks Coop, why did you wear your socks so high as a player? You know, I always wanted to know that myself. Well, Michael says there's a long story and a short story. The truth is, my legs are skinny. I guess that's the short story. Anyway, the high socks were just part of Coop's look. He was one of the league's best dressers, very fashionable for the 1980s. I know. Just what was fashionable in the 80s. So glad you asked. There was the Miami Vice look with pink and blue pastel shirts and white linen suits made popular by detectives Crockett and Tubbs. Remember Daisy Dukes? I know you do. They were those super short shorts named after the Dukes of Hazzard character, a variation on 70s hot pants. Well, skinny ties were in. They were being worn by new wave music stars like Devo, The Cars, and Elvis Costello. And of course, we can't leave out Don Nelson's fish ties, which for some crazy reason never really caught on. Oh, hairstyles, the fade, spiked hair, oh, Jerry curls. Some women were bleached blondes like Madonna, while men had it loosed and slicked back like Michael Douglas and Wall Street, not to mention Pat Riley. Some were even bold enough to dress like Boy George, but that is another story. But when you talk about fashionable celebrities in the 1980s, you have to mention the #1 entertainer of the era. With his suave demeanor, he delighted millions while dining with presidents and kings. We're talking about the San Diego Chicken. Yes, it was over 20 years ago that the Chicken made his roost at many NBA arenas, offering up his colorful plumage and zany antics night after night.
Get old for me? How can you get tired of having fun? Are you kidding? You think I'd give this up and get a real job for a living? It's almost like one festive party, everyone getting together, separated only by 90 feet of floor space. But I'm always trying to integrate new material and other things because there's nothing better than fresh chicken, let's face it.
With that kind of wit and charm, the Chicken rarely laid an egg as he became the nation's most valuable mascot.
Let's just say the Chicken is at the peak of his career.
Oh, that Chicken, quite a comedian, even a ham, you might say. You might also say that here at Vintage NBA over the last 4 years, we can make chicken salad out of chicken. Well, you know the rest. Anyway, the Chicken paved the way for characters like the Spurs Coyote and the Suns Gorilla. The Lakers never had a mascot, but they did have the league's first dance team. Not to mention some great basketball teams. And up next, it's Michael Cooper and the Lakers facing the Utah Jazz in the 1988 playoffs. After the Lakers won the 1987 title, Coach Pat Riley guaranteed they would repeat the following year. Now it was up to the team to back them up. But in the playoffs, they had to deal with the up-and-coming Utah Jazz, led by two young stars, John Stockton and Karl Malone. Yes, they were once young. The series was tied at 2 games apiece, and Game 5 is the subject of this week's Airwave Archive. It's Michael Cooper and the Lakers up by 8 in the 4th quarter. Here's a call from Chick Hearn and Stu Lance.
Now the Lakers lead by 8. Same thing they had in Game 4 to start the 4th quarter. And Kareem made the first basket of the period. The ball is to Cooper, bounce out in front to Magic. In low to Kareem, batted away and out of bounds by Eaton, who took a big chance on a foul. 13 on the 24. Not one foul against the Lakers in the 3rd quarter. Does that surprise you?
Yes, it does.
That doesn't sound like a physical game. The inbound pass to Michael Thompson, and Thompson out in front to Cooper. Magic coming through the key is bumped hard by Hansen. And Hansen gets a foul now. He figures he got away with one, maybe get another one.
That's right. If they don't call it, keep going back and try it again.
All right, the ball is into Magic Johnson. Screened by Green. Screened by Kareem. Magic doesn't use it yet. Kareem still screening. Magic around it. Sees Eaton. Takes it over to Cooper. A 20-footer at the base. No good. Hit the side of the board. The rebound to Michael Thompson. Throws it up and in. 2 men around him, and he made a pivot and banked it in from about 8 feet. Lakers by 10, just like they started game number 4's 4th quarter. And they won that ball game, 113 to 100. Now the ball in low, it goes to Malone. He turns, he shoots, and Green blocks it again.
Well, they can get away with that because Karl Malone hasn't shown that he wants to pass the ball in the set offense.
All right, here's the ball into Eaton. In the 3rd quarter, Malone was 1 for 7, so he's 1 for his last 8. Dribble drive, Stockton down the middle, 10-footer, Stockton good. Good thing he didn't miss the bus. He's got 17 points and at least 20 assists. Now the record for playoffs assists is 25. Rather 24. Magic holds it. 88-80. Ball goes over to Magic. In low to Kareem. This game is far from over. Swing left, shoot right. 12-footer no. Rebound is overtaken by Malone. He's due to get hot, Malone. It's a 4-on-2. Bounce through the key to Bailey. Slam dunk. Here they come. 88-82. And Magic goes the other way. Magic and the Lakers had a big 3rd quarter. Magic's 20-foot jumper. Good! Magic's got 16. He's made his last 4 field goals. Scott and Worthy will be in when it's dead as the Laker lead is 8. 10-16 to play. Stockton dribbles around Cooper. Underneath. Reverse layup is good. He's fouled. He went by Cooper like Cooper wasn't even there. And then subsequently was fouled.
Well, the thing that he does so well is he changes speeds, he changes directions. You know, he's very quick, but he doesn't always give you that one look. Use the basket that time for an easy opportunity.
He can pull his club to within 5. He's got 19 points. In this series so far, he's averaging 17. He makes the free throw. and it's 90-85, quicker than you can wink. Cooper comes the other way. Magic Johnson's out of the ball game. 10 minutes left to play. Ball out in front to Byron Scott, and into the post to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who fumbles, gets it back down the middle, throws it up, missed it. The rebound is off to Malone. Kareem did not have a good shot. The ball to Stockton. Stockton front court. He just brought his club to within 5. And they're going to be at you all night, all series. Bailey dribble drive, in deep, foul on Kareem. Turned his body again, and it'll be 2 shots. And Bailey will shoot him. That is the second foul of the half for the Lakers. Of the half.
Well, James got picked off by Big Mark Eaton, and when Kareem came over to help, he turned sideways, and every time you do that, you're going to probably get called.
Bailey's a good free thrower, improves it. It's a 4-point ball game. 86-90.
Boy, the poise of the Jazz is remarkable.
It really is. It's great. Second free throw is no good. The rebound is off to Byron Scott's leap. And he gives the ball to Coop. Magic cannot stay on the bench very long. Magic's had a heck of a ball game tonight. Now Coop dribbles around a pick by Thompson. Comes out in front 3-point line. Gives the ball to Scott. He's down the middle. He's in deep. Throws it under to Thompson. Slam dunk. That's an artist at work. Scott was doing nothing but shooting. And in one split flash of a second, he threw the ball instead of shooting to Thompson.
Great athletic play by Byron Scott.
It really was. 92-86. And Thompson in the ball game's got 16 points. Dribble drive by Stockton. He stops and brings the ball badly. Cooper knocks it loose. Cooper goes to get it. Cooper's on his way. No basket. Oh boy, here's going to be a boo. Mike Mathis, trailing the play by 35 feet, didn't call it. Standing beside the play and running with it, Darryl Garrettson let it go.
And Cooper just did not give up on the play. He went through 2 players to try to get that ball.
If one referee is beside me, I'm going to figure I'm home clear, aren't you?
I would think so.
All right, the ball is in to Thompson, back to Cooper. That's why we got 2 referees and 2 great ones. Cooper dribbling the ball around a pick by Thompson. Cooper at the 3-point line. Cooper terminates the rule to give the ball to Worthy. Worthy holds it up. Hanson is guarding Scott. Worthy's 18-footer on the way. No, rebound is off and is taken by Malone. Malone to Hanson. Hanson to front court gives to Stockton. Stockton won any kind of a timeout? No. Stockton dribbling against Cooper with 8:40 to play in the 4th. 6-point Laker lead. It's a simulcast, ladies and gentlemen. And Stockton guided by Cooper with 10 in the 24. Stockton takes it in low. Malone's got it. He shoots it. It goes. It goes! His second basket in 9 shots. He was fouled. It appeared to be Thompson. So now they can come within 3 points. It's 92-88.
One of the things I think they're going to have to do with John Stockton, as soon as he picks the ball up, they're going to just have to run up to him and smother him. They're trying to stay in between him and the man he's passing, and he's just picking them clean.
21 points and 15 rebounds for Carl. 22 points. He's getting 29 every game in the first 4 games. Laker lead is only 3. They had a 10-point lead about 3 minutes ago. The ball into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar against Eaton. Back to Cooper. Back into Kareem. Down the middle they go. The old stuff. Going to the same man all the time. So predictable you could write a letter and answer the question. Stockton's 18-footer good. And the Lakers deserve that, baby. Oh, do they deserve it. 22nd timeout. The Lakers 92, the Jazz 91, and the game is coming to you live from the Fabulous Forum.
Chick Hearn never shy about criticizing the Lakers. Not that there was that much to criticize. They did have the league's best record that season. As for the Jazz, they were just starting to rise in the West. And this series against the Lakers would stamp them as legitimate contenders for years to come. We'll have more of Game 5 right after we raise the curtain on this week's trivia question. Back in the 80s, the Forum became the place to be, not just to watch the Lakers, but to watch all the celebrities in the crowd. Of course, the regulars were there, like Jack Nicholson and Diane Cannon, but many other stars showed up at courtside. As we return to the 88 playoffs, we spot Mel Gibson, starring then in Tequila Sunrise, and Billy Crystal, who would later switch allegiances and become a Clippers fan.
3 minutes and 25 seconds ago, the Lakers led by 10. Now Magic's on the bench. It's a 1-point Laker lead, and all the momentum belongs to the Jazz. Cooper's bringing it up as the point guard. Cooper goes around Stockton. Cooper gets to the three-point line, and Magic takes off the sweatsuit. Cooper terminates. The dribble on the ball is out to Thompson. This is a big possession. Here's Scott. Scott stops, 20-footer outside. On the way, no. The rebound is to Stockton. Here they come. They flood out of the backcourt, 4-on-3. Left side to Bailey. Bailey in deep. Throws it up and throws it in. And they've got the lead. The Jazz have them dancing around the Mormon Tabernacle. 93-92. The Lakers fall behind. 7.5 to play. Ball into Kareem again. Back out in front to Scott. Back over to Coop. You know they're going into Kareem, and they do. Kareem's got the ball. And the crowd wondering what's he going to do. He's fouled. Kareem was bailed out as he tried to dribble. He was heading out of bounds, but Eaton gets his 4th or 5th foul. I don't think you can take him out in this game. You got to go with him.
Yeah, they're not going to take him out.
You can't take him out. You might foul him out, but they won't take him out. They've got Turpin over there, and apparently they're not going to bring him in. The Lakers are behind after leading by 10 just exactly 4 minutes ago. Magic down the middle. Over to Scott. To the dribble around Stockton. To the free throw line. Shot is good by Scott. I'll tell you, for a clutch shooter, I'd just soon have him shoot as anybody in the league.
That's for sure, because he's been hot all year long and nothing's changed. He's got the great jump shot.
He's got 20 points again tonight, and the Lakers lead by 1 with 7 minutes to play. It's nervous time at the Fabulous Forum. Stockton looks into Bailey. He can't get it to him yet because of Worthy. Now the ball goes into Bailey, 17 feet to the left side. To Stockton, out in front to Hansen. Hansen in low to Eaton. He turns. He shoots on Kareem. It'll count if it goes. It didn't go. Kareem gets his 4th foul. All right, Eaton at the line to tie it with the first one. And he misses. He has missed both shots tonight. Coming into this one, he had made 16 of 18. We're tied at 94 with 6:45 to play. Magic Johnson of the Lakers. And here comes Magic down the floor. Magic against Hansen. It's nervous time, and Magic down the middle. Magic stops and holds it up. Magic gives the ball to James Worthy. No place for turnovers now. Into Kareem. Back to Worthy. Worthy holds it up top of the key. Back into Kareem. Back to Worthy. 20-footer by Worthy. Good! Boy, did he look poised on that. 24 for him. Kareem the assist. Laker lead is 2. 6:15 to play. Stockton with the ball. 22 points and 22 assists for the little guy. Who says there's not a place in the game for him, huh? Now Stockton looking inside. Stockton looks for Malone. Brings it out in front to Hansen. Brings it over to Bailey. Drive the baseball. What do we got called? Offensive foul. Eaton out of the game. The only thing you can say about this is that it was not Phi Beta Kappa. He came out, 25, 30 feet from the basket and set an illegal pick.
That's in the official right on the spot. Once you get set in your position for your screen, you have to stay stationary. James is trying to get over it, and you see Mark Eaton moves the step just to try and get him.
Now they bring in Ivoroni. And if the Lakers cannot beat them now in the last 6 minutes, then the Lakers are in big trouble going over there Thursday night. Let's see what Magic and the Lakers can do. Magic with the ball in the front court. The Lakers are up by 2 as Eaton fouled out at the 5:55 mark. Now here's a pass under to Worthy, and he scores. Magic Johnson scoring, not Worthy. Magic Johnson on the 4th assist by Scott. It's a big difference with Eaton out of there, folks. A big difference. 98-94. Eaton out at about the 5:55 mark. Here's a foul outside by Scott. And the Lakers are out of fouls. That's free throw time. That's not Phi Beta Kappa either.
The Jazz are executing that pick and roll so well. I think the Lakers are going to have to go to forcing John Stockton to go baseline away from the screen.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the World Champion Lakers Basketball Network. Stockton misses the second after making the first foul, and the rebound is called against Ivoroni. Ivoroni's got the adrenaline going. He's not a great player, but he gives you 1,000%. He's a good player. Both teams out of fouls from this point. 98-95, the Lakers are in front. And coming with the ball, Magic Johnson. 5:27 to play in game 5. Magic holds it up. Inside a foul called against Kareem. Let's see who they called it on. Byron Scott gets the foul. Offensive foul is not a shooting foul. All right, 98-95. That's 4 fouls on Byron. 5:15 to play. Lakers by 3. But what it did, it took away an opportunity to score a point or two. Now here's ball in low to Malone. Malone will put it up. Pass it into Bailey. Slam dunk. Great play, but the 2 big forwards. Sensational pass by Malone. 98-97. The Lakers by 1. And Magic comes to the front court. Magic Johnson of the Los Angeles Lakers looking for a point or two here. They turned it over the last time. Now Worthy's got it. In low to Kareem. Guarded by Malone. Brings it out to Scott. 3-pointer. Done! You see what I mean about clutch shooting? 101-97. Timeout, the Jazz.
A big three-pointer from Byron Scott, and yes, that was Rob Reiner you saw sitting courtside. Well, after the Utah series, the Lakers faced Dallas in the conference finals. The Mavs had one of the league's best guards at the time in Rolando Blackman, and he has vivid memories of what it was like to face Michael Cooper.
Well, he had the high socks and also the thin body, so he looked like a big stick man coming at you, but what you knew and understood was that it was a smart player coming at you with great intensity and a guy who understood the game. So you have to be on your game in order to be able to do well against Coop.
I saw it was a passing of the torch when I was playing in the Garden, and I was playing Michael Cooper, and Magic's coming down, and I kind of jump out the double, and he throws the ball up in the air. Michael Cooper takes it out the air, jabs it. I look back and say, uh-oh, the game's gone by me now.
And in fact, the Pearl decided to call it quits in 1980, which happened to be Magic's rookie season. Magic's lob to Cooper came to be called the Coop-a-Loop, but Michael's defensive prowess earned him another nickname, the Secretary of Defense. Coop and the Lakers are trying to shut down the Jazz in the '88 playoffs. And right now, let's return to Game 5 late in the 4th quarter.
Magic is going to pass it in. I think Scott will come breaking out in front. Here comes Green out in front. The pass comes to AC. Now the Lakers have to score this time. They lead by 2. Scott's got the ball. Bounce pass to Magic. Worthy saves it. Give to Scott. 20-foot jumper, no good. Rebound high in the air. Green's got it. He should bring it out. They steal it. Stockton stole the ball. Stockton, and they could tie it up. Bounce in low to Malone. Shot no good, but he was fouled. He'll shoot 2. I'll tell you, Stockton, to me, is the most valuable player in this series, win or lose. He makes a steal.
Every time you bring the ball down near the floor, anywhere below your waist, John Stockton is going to get a hand on it. That time, he just completely took the ball.
It was a great rebound by Green. He's made 6 out of 7 free throws now. He leaves it cold. 1:04 to play. But no lead is safe. No lead is safe with Stockton out there. He made it, and it's 106-105. And the Lakers will long dream about not scoring on that sequence. The last 2 Lakers shots have been outside jumpers by Scott. 106-105 with 1 minute left to play. Magic backing in. You got to get the good shot. Magic down the middle. Magic all the way. They steal it. Stockton stole it. Give the ball to Stockton. Lead pass to Malone. Malone slam. Timeout the Lakers. Another great steal for Stockton. That's 5 steals credited to the little guy Stockton. I don't know how many more he's come close to.
Well, if you put a value on how many times the player gets their hand on the ball or causes deflections and things, John Stockton's his stock in trade goes up drastically.
Stockton tied the all-time NBA assist record for a game, held by Magic, 24 with that pass.
Well, the only thing the Lakers can do, not the only thing, but one of the things they may be considering is the play they're going to run with 47 seconds. They want to get it up with about 35 seconds.
That's right.
So that then they have a chance at the last shot.
Absolutely right. All right, the ball is to Magic. 45, 44. Magic's in the front court at the 42 mark. The Lakers are down by a point. Magic dribbling against Hansen. Through the key comes Worthy. He gets the pass. Worthy holds it up. Worthy fakes it. 10 on the clock. He's down the middle. He's in the air. Score! 31 seconds, and they will indeed perhaps get another possession. 108-107. The Los Angeles Lakers lead it. And we had 30 seconds when he made the shot. A one-point ball game. Everybody in the building is standing. Stockton's got the ball. Screen by Malone. Stockton around it. Bounce over here to Hansen. Hansen 18-footer, no. Throws the ball to the baseline. And Bailey hits it with 12 seconds. Timeout the Lakers. Bailey hit a beautiful 17-footer, and Hansen has to get the credit. He was in the air ready to shoot it at 14 seconds and dished it off at the last split second.
That's for sure. Again, this team held their poise to the last second. Hansen makes the penetration, spots the open man. Thurl Bailey makes that shot all night long. All the pressure back onto the Lakers.
Now the Lakers are down to 12 seconds. The Jazz lead 109-108. The Lakers will take it in midcourt, and Cooper will pass it in. Cooper, Thompson, Magic, Worthy, and Byron Scott. They're not going to guard the inbound passer. Now here they send a man out on him. Now they change the man and put Stockton on him. Stockton a short man, so Coop can get it in over him. The Lakers are out of timeouts. No timeouts left. The ball to Magic. Dribble drive. Down the middle. Out to Coop. 18-footer. Good! But there's still 7 seconds. And the Lakers have no timeouts left. But listen to this crowd on Cooper's heroics.
Well, the inbounds pass, there was a play. They wanted to go to Magic Johnson all the way. He penetrates, and they shut him off. And there's Cooper to hit the 20-footer.
Well, let me tell you the real story of that shot. It's his first and only basket of the game.
Well, he picked a very opportune time to deliver his first 2 points.
Well, the Laker bench liked it, just like Utah did a second ago. Handling the ball out of bounds will be Ivoroni. Ivoroni is a 6-year veteran, 3rd year with this team. He's looking for somebody to bring it in, too. The Lakers are up by a point, 7 seconds to play. Can they get the pass in? Let's find out. They're counting the time down. Here's the pass, intercepted by Worthy. James Worthy intercepted, was fouled immediately by Bailey. Smart foul. However, they're going to blame Ivoroni. Nobody went to meet the ball from the big kid.
Well, the type of play they had set up, I think it was set up so that John Stockton circles around all of the screeners, and on the second time around, it seemed like John Stockton was open, but Mark Ivoroni did not see him and threw the ball to Thurl Bailey.
He's made 1 out of 2. He's got to make 2 free throws here. The first one's good. That's some insurance, but there's 5 seconds left, and the Jazz will use a timeout. Regardless, if he makes it or they get the rebound. If he makes it, they're down by 3, and the only thing they can hope for is an overtime. Big James looks confident, dips the knees, sets himself, fires, missed it, rebound is off, timeout, 5 seconds. Woo! Mother, call your daughter in.
This is getting serious.
Oh, yeah, this is serious. Worthy's mad at Worthy for missing that free throw. He made the big one, the first one. 2-point Laker lead. Scott Roth, a great 3-point shooter, and a great shooter is in the game. He is a rookie out of the University of Wisconsin. Scott Roth played in the summer league here. He'll take the ball and bring it in. He's a fine shooter. Thurl Bailey's a great shooter from outside. Roth brings the ball in to Stockton. Stockton's double team. Don't foul him. Stockton in the air, throws the ball. It's over. The Lakers win it.
Let's take a look at the individual scoring now, and James led the scoring with 24. Byron with 27. Byron had 24, including 3 3-pointers. Magic Johnson, 20, and I think he had 14 assists. Michael Thompson was just splendiferous with 18 points. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before fouling out, 14. A.C. Green had 5, and Michael Cooper with 3. His lone field goal was the shot that was heard around the world. Now, we're going to have Coop with Stu Lance in a moment, and I think that you'll find a very happy young guy out of the University of New Mexico.
I want to know what was going through your mind when all of a sudden, at 12 seconds to play, you're down a point, and they call on you to come in because you're the best inbounds passer.
Well, I'm just trying to get the basketball to the right person at the right time, which was Magic, and he was open. And the time he went to drive to the basket, I was just spotting to get open in the area, not necessarily for the pass, for the shot, but just to look open to get the basketball to see if it came off for a rebound or something like that. And I was fortunate to get the pass, and, you know, I'm a professional. You're supposed to hit that shot.
And hit that shot you did. You had all the confidence in the world when you took it, too. You weren't thinking about anything but shooting it. And when you shoot the ball as a first resort, you're a good shooter.
Definitely, Stu. That's the thing that guys on the team keep trying to tell me is to shoot the basketball, not look to pass. But being a passer all my life and a defensive player, I look pass before shooting. This time I just happened to reverse it, and lucky for us.
You know, clearly Coop could hit the big shot when he had to. But think about this. With Magic, Kareem, Worthy, and Scott, there were only so many shots to go around. The Lakers went on to win that series in 7 games, then beat Dallas and Detroit to capture their 2nd consecutive title. Today, the franchise has 13 NBA championships. They've done it not only with superstars, but also an impressive cast of supporting players. More about that when we come back. Throughout their history, the Lakers have featured some of the game's most legendary names. It started in Minneapolis with George Mikan and continued in L.A. with West, Wilt, Magic, Kareem, and now Shaq. But like any Hollywood production, they needed strong performances from the rest of the cast. Michael Cooper played his part in Showtime, and other Lakers have also shined in a supporting role. Back in Minneapolis, the Lakers had the league's original high flyer, Jim Pollard, known as the Kangaroo Kid, the original Kangaroo Kid. His style has been compared to Clyde the Glide Drexler. Pollard was a key to the Laker dynasty of the 50s when they won 6 titles in 7 years. There was Harold Happy Hairston, forward on one of the greatest teams of all time, the 72 Lakers. They had stars like Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, and Wilt Chamberlain, but Hairston was also a key contributor, helping Wilt control the defensive boards. Another role player on that team was forward Jim McMillan. He moved into the lineup when Elgin Baylor retired, and the next day the Lakers began their record 33-game winning streak. They won the championship with McMillan averaging 19 points a game. Now to the 80s and Bob McAdoo. He'd been an MVP and a scoring champion, but he accepted his role as a reserve on the Lakers. Big Mac provided offense off the bench for 2 of LA's championship teams in 1982 and also in '85. Ron Harper was part of the Bulls three-peat and headed west to join Phil Jackson in LA. The veteran guard helped the Lakers win the 2000 title. He wanted to retire, but said that Phil wouldn't let him, so he came back and helped them again in 2001 to win it all again. And this year, the Lakers have added 2 other veterans to the supporting cast, Mitch Richmond and Lindsey Hunter. But other teams have their own reliable role players. Who are some of those standouts? Here are some opinions from around the league.
Today's premier role players.
I definitely have to go with myself. JYD. Got the socks, setting the screens. You know, I even shoot a fadeaway jumper from time to time, even if it doesn't go in. Other than myself, I had to go with Malik Rose from San Antonio Spurs. He's a definite role player. He can even guard Shaq from time to time.
Mr. Energy, Mr. Hustle, Malik Rose.
You know, I think that as far as being good at what he does is Dikembe Mutombo.
I have to say a guy like, you know, maybe Robert Horry or Rick Fox, you know, they hit big shots, you know, for those championship teams. Played great defense and, you know, did the little intangibles to get them to win.
Robert Horry, right between the eyes.
You can give us your take on role players or on Michael Cooper. Just drop us an email at NBA.com in the TV program section. Always love hearing from you. You know, Cooper had a tough act to follow there at Showtime with the Lakers, but he's orchestrated a sequel as coach of the Sparks. As a player, Coop's specialty was always defending. He'll have the chance to do it again next summer when he and the Sparks begin defending their WNBA championship. Well, that's it for this edition of Vintage NBA. I'm Robin Roberts. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll look for you again next time. Till then, take care.
Congratulations to one of the great teams in the NBA and possibly all of sports, the 1986-87 NBA World Champion Los Angeles Lakers.
The Tar Heel from North Carolina, James Worthy. The Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Cooper. The NBA MVP and the playoff MVP, Magic. They call him the captain.